Welcome to That History Show. We are your hosts. My name is Sadie Ozersky, self-proclaimed environmentalist, flower photographer, and antioxidant infusion enthusiast.
Basically, she's a professional hippie. My name is Emily Hom, current addict of overly priced frappuccinos and miniature-sized objects. In my free time, I enjoy listening to hardcore remixes of children's shows' theme songs.
Today, we will be reflecting on the many events that occurred during our lifetime, because we are so important.
We're going to throw it back all the way to 2000, when the most important thing on the face of this earth occurred, my birth.
My birth was most important.
Excuse me? You did not just go there.
You have done
Oh my
nothing
God!
on this work.
Yeah,
You are
Live from Tucson, it's Saturday morning!
How could you push me in the
You know
such
you
a
know
joke
that
I have
I
guys, you're back on.
Oh, back to 2000, when I was born. After that, in November, the first crew arrived in the International Space Station for the first long-duration stay.
They spent 136 days in space from November 2000 to March of 2001.
This mission was known as Expedition 1.
3 people went up in space. There was an American commander and 2 Russians.
They came aboard on the Russian spacecraft called Soyuz TM-31.
When they were up there, they activated various systems on the station, unpacked delivered equipment, and hosted 3 visiting space shuttle crews and 2 Russian resupply vehicles.
This was significant because it was the first time the International Space Station was used for long stays.
It proved that it was safe to use for missions and other important tasks.
In 2001, one of the most tragic events in U.S. history occurred.
On September 11th, 4 airplanes were hijacked by terrorists.
2 planes targeted the Twin Towers in the World Trade Center.
1 plane hit the Pentagon in Washington, D.C.
Before the 4th plane could cause any more damage, the passengers on the plane got a hold of the plane and flew it into a field.
Over 3,000 people were killed.
This event was significant because it started the conflict between the U.S. and the Middle East.
The terrorists' goal was to tear America apart, but it only brought us closer together.
In 2002, a large asteroid missed Earth by 75,000 miles.
That's about a third of the way to the moon.
It flew by Earth on June 15, 2002.
It had a diameter of about 100 meters.
It was discovered that this asteroid passed about 2 days after it actually did.
This event could have been detrimental to our society and well-being.
Thousands of people could have died if this catastrophic collision were to occur.
The energy release could have been of the magnitude of a large nuclear weapon.
On record, it was one of the closest asteroid flybys.
In 2003, the U.S. as well as other countries invaded Iraq.
The invasion lasted 21 days, from March 19th to May 1st.
U.S. troops combined with other troops from the United Kingdom, Australia, and Poland.
The invasion started when the capital of Iraq, Baghdad, was bombed.
Shortly after the bombing of the capital, George W. Bush announced on television that there were troops invading Iraq.
The invasion consisted mostly of major combat operations.
This was very significant because it started the conflict now known as the Iraq War.
In 2004, George W. Bush was re-elected for the President of the United States.
He became the 43rd president in 2001.
He was against Democratic Senator John Kerry.
It was an incredibly close election.
After the election, Republicans increased majorities in both the House and the Senate.
Bush used the war in Iraq as a basis for his campaign.
However, Kerry stated that he did a poor job planning and executing how the war went.
This was a significant event because Bush was the president for the next 4 years. In 2005, the now famous website YouTube was launched.
YouTube is a public video sharing website.
It was founded by Chad Harley, Steve Chen, and Joed Kareem.
All three of them were former employees of PayPal.
The first YouTube video was titled Me at the Zoo.
It featured one of the founders.
This was a significant event because it started the website that is now internationally known as the #1 video sharing website.
People today use it for their job. People today use it for their job. And entertaining videos are posted daily. In 2006, a set of devastating tornadoes ripped through Iowa City, Iowa.
It occurred from April 13th to 18th in the days leading up to Easter.
It was an unusually active month of tornadoes, and it was the third major outbreak in April.
There were 54 confirmed tornadoes that occurred.
There were more than $20 million in damage.
Before the tornadoes began, there were severe thunderstorms with a lot of hail.
5 to 20 reports of tornadoes were taken every day for these 6 days.
This was a significant event because many people died and it had a detrimental effect on the town itself. In 2007, a tiger went loose in the San Francisco Zoo and killed 1 person and injured 2 others.
The tiger's name was Tatiana.
The event occurred on December 25th, 2007.
A previous attack occurred where a zookeeper was bitten on the arm.
During the recent attack, a police officer shot and killed the tiger.
Carlos Sousa, the one who died, had suffered major head and neck injuries.
This was a significant event because it called for a need to improve the zoo security.
It was slightly tragic because a person died and another was injured. In 2008, Fidel Castro retired as president of Cuba.
He had been president of Cuba for 50 years.
He handed his throne to his younger brother, Raul Castro.
For a year and a half leading up to his retirement, he was very ill and people were concerned for the well-being of their country.
He and the United States were enemies because he tried to turn Cuba into a communist territory during the Cold War.
After he retired, Raul Castro hinted at economic reform for Cuba.
This was significant because after 50 years of Fidel Castro being in power, his brother now must take the country's well-being into his hands.
In 2009, Michael Jackson, the king of pop, died.
He died in Holmby Hills, Los Angeles.
He died of acute propofol and benzodiazepine intoxication.
The world was devastated for the loss of one of the biggest music icons of all time.
After his death, the sales of his music and the Jackson 5 music increased dramatically.
This event was ranked #1 on the list of the top 100 most shocking events in music.
His public memorial service was held on July 7th, 2009.
This was a significant event because Michael Jackson was incredibly famous and his death was a huge shock to everyone. In 2010, the major earthquake in Haiti occurred.
It happened on January 12th, 2010 at 4:53 p.m.
It measured a 7.0 on the Richter scale.
It killed 200,000 people.
And a shocking 600,000 people were left injured or homeless.
The government collapsed completely.
And the economical, political, and ecological landscapes were changed totally.
Haiti had to rely on foreign aid to get through their terrible times.
This is a significant event because so many people died and Haiti was changed for the worse.
In 2011, the tragic Safeway shooting occurred.
This event happened on January 8th, 2011.
Jared Loughner was responsible for the death of 6 people, 18 injuries, and the detrimental mental state Gabrielle Giffords was in after the shooting.
She was shot straight through the head.
Loughner did not agree with the political movements Gifford was responsible for, so he used violence against her.
He was subjected to life in prison and time in a mental hospital due to his mental instability. In 2012, Lance Armstrong was found guilty for using steroids.
He admitted this on Oprah Winfrey.
He was convicted of answering yes to using EPO, testosterone, cortisone, human growth hormone, and illegal blood transfusions.
The previous October, 1,000 pages of evidence was printed for suspicions of him using performance-enhancing medications.
He was stripped of his 7 Tour de France titles.
It was demanded that he give his bronze medal won in 2000 back.
This was significant because Lance Armstrong was such a famous athlete, and him being accused of using drugs and it being confirmed was a big deal. The things we do for this class.
Another event that happened in 2012 was the refusal of the continuation of creating printed versions of Encyclopedia Britannica.
They had printed encyclopedias for 244 years.
They are now focusing more on printing online versions.
The last print weighed more than 129 pounds.
This was volume 32.
They used to sell these encyclopedias door to door.
This event was important because printed encyclopedias are no longer available.
And finally, in 2014, Africatown, Guinea, stated deadly virus Ebola has already killed 59 people.
The disease had spread in southern communities of the West African nation.
UNICEF stated that 59 out of the 80 who contracted the virus was killed by it.
3 of these victims were children.
There was an incredibly weak medical care in Africa, so it was hard for some to survive.
The outbreak was expected to be devastating.
UNICEF then sent medical care and supplies to Africa to help.
This event was significant because many people died from this virus, and it had a detrimental effect on Africa as a whole. Thanks for watching
The History Show. I'm so